Two former Georgia Bulldog players have very different opinions about the matchup between their Georgia Bulldogs and the Tennessee Volunteers. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Kangaroo Black, coming back once again to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs and the Tennessee Volunteers matchup. And two former Georgia Bulldog players have very different opinions about this game. I'm talking about former linebacker, Georgia linebacker David Pollack, and former Georgia Bulldog quarterback Aaron Murray. And we're going to talk about what David Pollack had to say first. If you want to go read the article, you can go to on3.com, and the title is David Pollack Believes Tennessee Has a Georgia Problem and Must Prove Themselves, which they do have a Georgia problem. I agree with him on that. They done beat Tennessee 8 years in a row. 8 years in a row. And the last time Tennessee beat Georgia, it came on a Hail Mary. We all remember that. I'm sure Georgia Bulldog fans remember it, and I'm sure the Tennessee fans remember it. But anyway, this is going to be a big matchup. Georgia been having some issues on offense. Tennessee's offense has been running like a well-oiled machine. Everybody seems to think that Georgia's defense has gotten better from last year. I think Tennessee defense probably fell off just a little bit. Not much, because they still getting it done. But anyway, Georgia has won 8 consecutive games over Tennessee dating back to 2017. The Bulldogs have won 13 out of the last 15. Yeah, 13 out of the last 15. But anyway, to keep it moving, let me see what Tennessee will present itself as Georgia's first challenging game of the season as the Bulldogs open against Marshall and Austin Peay. Although Georgia won those 2 games by an average of 30 points per game, it didn't quite look dominant. The Volunteers, however, have opened their season with a 45-26 win over Syracuse and a 72-17 beatdown of East Tennessee State, and seem more than warmed up for the challenge. They seem more than warmed up for these Georgia Bulldogs, but we gonna find out. We definitely gonna find out tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern Time, Neyland Stadium. So, hey, it is what it is, man. Seems like my computer want to freeze up for some reason. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, let's get to what David Pollack had to say. David Pollack says, Tennessee got a Georgia problem and has had a Georgia problem for a while now. It is 8 straight losses for Tennessee, and the last win was a Hail Mary. That's crazy, but a win is a win. I know Georgia's defense is really good. Their defense is going to present a lot of problems for Tennessee's offense. Their coverages and coverage in the back end are really good. I think they've got solid matchups across the board and really good cover guys. I think they've got some physicality up front and can handle the run game of Tennessee, and they have some depth. They can rotate. So he's high, very high on his Georgia Bulldogs, which is good. He should be. He also says, I think Tennessee's banged up on the defensive line. I know they're not as deep as they were a year ago, but they are physical. They do a good job of being physical up front. I know that Joey Aguilar has got some moxie and some stealth to him. I know enough watching him at the QB position to know that he's going to make plays. Did I say he's going to make plays just for his team? Probably not. He's probably going to make some mistake, but he's a really good athlete. He's saying this man, Joe Aguilar, is going to throw some interception. That's what he's saying. Anyway, the system needs to continue to tweak, and I think it has a little bit. But I know they can throw the football. I don't look at last week much when you play really inferior competition. But when you do what you're supposed to do, I like that. I like when you club people. Tennessee's offense is still a Josh Heupel offense with speed and tempo and the ability to make big plays. Yeah, He says, I feel more comfortable about Georgia pieces than I do Tennessee. But Tennessee as a unit with their offense and their system is probably a bit more dependable than Georgia's. Now, going back to Tennessee's offensive line, I think Tennessee always has a good offensive line to do what they're supposed to do. You know, open up running lanes, pass block, you know, give the quarterback time, you know, to go through his progression. So I think Tennessee won't have a problem with that offensive line. That's just me. That's just me. I really haven't watched Georgia this season because of why? Marshall and Austin Peay, the opponents that they've been playing. I already knew what Georgia was going to do. But last week, I did think Georgia would just beat the brakes off Austin Peay with no problem, but that wasn't the case. They went into the half 14-3, which I knew they was having issues then. But, you know, David Pollack could be right. I mean, Tennessee, they do have a Georgia problem. Like us Alabama fans say, Georgia got an Alabama problem. That's fact. Tennessee has a Georgia problem. And I know a lot of Georgia fans who think that they just Tennessee won't win this game. I beg to differ. I picked Tennessee to win the game because I look at the past 2 weeks at how both teams have played. Georgia done beat a Power 4 opponent, even though it was Syracuse. And these Georgia fans say, oh, it was Syracuse. This ain't the same Syracuse team as last year. Well, guess what? This ain't the same Tennessee team as last year. This ain't the same Georgia team as last year. All right? Maybe both teams is better. I don't know. We're going to find out tomorrow, but I did pick Tennessee to win the game. So it is what it is. But David Pollack, he made a lot of good points talking about the depth pieces on that defensive side of the ball compared to the depth pieces against Tennessee's offense. All right. So maybe they are a little deeper on defense, Georgia, than Tennessee is on offense. But the thing is, I feel that Tennessee's offense will be able to stop. Tennessee's defense will be able to stop Georgia's offense. Going by the way Georgia offense looked last week, and I know they played Marshall the first game. They put up, 45 points, I believe. I'm not sure. It was 40-something. All right. But that's neither here nor there. What they going to do against Tennessee's defense? Because if they had the issues they had last week, it's going to be a problem. But David Pollack is not wrong in anything that he said. He's not wrong about anything he said. I can agree with everything he said. All right. Except for the part that they so deep on defense, and that I'm disagreeing with him because I don't know. Really, I can't disagree with him or I can't agree with him. I just don't know. I don't know because I haven't tuned into Georgia really this season. I watched a little bit of their game last week against Austin Peay. The rain delay after the rain delay, but other than that, and I turned that off after about 5 or 10 minutes. I was live during the Alabama game, but other than that, man, I have nothing more to say about this Georgia team because I haven't watched them. But guess what? I will be watching them tomorrow against these Tennessee Volunteers. You can believe that. Most definitely. So, hey, it is what it is. I say, what is it? 3:30 Eastern? Yeah, I will be tuned in. I'll be live for it, too, so y'all join me. But anyway, that's what David Pollack had to say. And let's get to what Aaron Murray had to say. Now, Aaron Murray, he have different thoughts. You know, he's not as strong a believer in these Georgia Bulldogs as David Pollack in this game. All right, but anyway, if you want to read this article, you can go to matter of fact, where can you go? BallQuest. On3.com too? Yeah, you can go to On3 for this one too. But anyway, this is what Aaron Murray had to say. Tennessee is in a better position than Georgia entering SEC opener. Aaron Murray has two perspectives when he looks at number 6 Georgia's game at number 15 Tennessee on Saturday. One view, is as a former Georgia quarterback who never lost to the Vols. The other is as a college football analyst for ESPN. Aaron Murray says, I want to put my Georgia hat on. And I want to say Georgia's going to beat your ass so bad. But I can't say that confidently. And this was on the Knoxville Quarterback Club. He had an interview with them on Monday. But anyway, he want to put his Georgia hat on and say, hey, Georgia going to beat y'all ass bad. But he say he can't say that confidently. Anyway, as an ESPN employee, I put my Georgia hat away and then I just call the game for what it is. I think Tennessee is in a better position right now to go out there and have success. That's what he said. Anyway, he also says, I think that Tennessee is more confident. I think Tennessee is a better team. Massive home field advantage. Say it ain't so. A Georgia Bulldog saying this? He ain't got confidence in his Georgia Bulldogs? Come on, man. Anyway, he also goes on to say, I don't like what I see on tape from the Georgia football team, to be honest. Not at all. There's a lot of worry in the state of Georgia for good reason. The tape don't lie, and the tape is not being good to Georgia on offense. The first 2 games of the season against what you want to consider lesser opponents in Marshall and Austin Peay. It ain't. The tape ain't good. It ain't good at all. And yes, it's cause for concern in Athens. And if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, you have cause for concern concerning your offense. Just my opinion. Anyway, he goes on to say, Aaron Murray, Gunner is a little bit long in his delivery when it comes to getting the ball out in the RPO world. The quick hitches, the bubbles, the screens on the outside, and I think that there is some confidence that's lacking at the moment. Everybody is saying, Gunner Stockton, what's wrong with Gunner? What's wrong with Gunner? Gunner ain't the guy. Maybe that would all change in this game. Maybe he would come into this game with confidence, more confidence that he didn't shown in the previous 2 games, according to Aaron Murray. Just maybe. Just maybe. But anyway, and the last thing that you want from a guy that played in that stadium, Neyland Stadium, and know how difficult it is to play in Neyland and how loud and intimidating and how you aren't going to have a voice after 4 quarters. The last thing that you need is lacking confidence heading into this ball game. So I worry about him and his confidence. Ain't no need to, well, it is cause to worry. It is. But you shouldn't be no more worried about this game than the last 2 games, in my opinion. I know it's Tennessee. I know it's a powerful opponent, and I know it's an SEC opponent. But you approach the game, you should prepare for every game the same damn way. Like every opponent, you facing a national champion in every opponent. And I know you Georgia fans, you're going to bring up my Alabama Crimson Tide. That's fine and dandy. I don't care. I don't care. But don't just gloss over the issues that your team have like y'all like to do. Anyway, man, Aaron Murray had a lot to say. He said, I kind of sat back and said, okay, maybe they got the right guy at quarterback. And I don't know if Joy Aguilar is going to be as good as Nico. I don't know if he's going to be a better prospect than Nico. But through 2 games, he looks pretty damn good. Aaron Murray damn sure ain't saying that about Gunner Stockton. I'm just saying. Anyway, he looks pretty damn good because of his anticipation. Because he can throw it downfield with touch. He can throw to the outside with some gusto. He didn't say nothing about no anticipation when it came to Gunner Stockton. He said he's hesitant. But anyway, overall, man, really impressed with him. I like the receivers on the outside. I like the running back. I like the defense. So you guys impressed me. Talking about Tennessee. If Stockton is missing gusto for Georgia, it could be the difference. You walk into Neyland Stadium with guys that are physically playing well and communicating, that's a recipe for disaster. Oh, that ain't what it said. You walk in the Neyland Stadium with guys that are not playing well and communicating. That's a recipe for disaster. Talking about them Georgia Bulldogs. There are some things offensively right now that is obviously a big time concern for the Georgia Bulldogs, which should be giving the Tennessee some extra motivation heading into this ball game. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he said it. You go in the Neyland Stadium and you ain't playing well and you ain't communicating. That's a damn recipe for disaster. But guess what? That's in any stadium. That can be at home. You ain't playing well, you ain't communicating. Yeah, that is a recipe for disaster. I don't care where you at. That's with every team. But anyway, so yeah. So there are some things offensively right now that should be big concern to the Georgia Bulldog staff, the team, the fan base, or whatever. And with that, going into that game, and Tennessee know you got some problems on offense, their defense is going to pin their ears back. You can believe that. And they probably going to try to make Gunner beat him with his arm. They're going to try to pressure Gunner. I'm telling you, they're going to try to pressure this guy. And guess what? Georgia, I think they're going to put pressure on Joe Aguilar and try to rattle him too. But Aguilar, this guy has a lot of confidence. This guy will stand in the pocket and he will deliver. Okay? So, and he done shown that. He done shown that. He got a whole lot more college experience than Gunner Stockton. I tell you that right now. And it shows. So maybe, just maybe, the Georgia Bulldogs of old will show up tomorrow. I agree with David Pollack that Tennessee has Georgia problems. That's why Georgia done won 8 in a row. But I also agree with Aaron Murray that Georgia has some concerns offensively. And they should be concerned with the play of Gunner Stockton. Just my opinion. Now, you Georgia Bulldogs, if you agree with these guys, both of them, put it in the comment. If you agree with Aaron Murray, put it in the comment. If you agree with David Pollack, put it in the comment. And I think most of the Georgia fan base will lean toward David Pollack. Because you know how it is. It is what it is. But like I tell you, Georgia Bulldog fans who think that this is an automatic win for you because you won 8 in a row, it ain't. You play them every year. It's going to come a time that you're going to lose to Tennessee, and it just might be tomorrow. Alabama, play Tennessee every year. Beat them 15 years in a row. And guess what? 2022, Tennessee got that damn win. And then they came back and did it in 2024. So it's going to come a time, Georgia Bulldogs, that Tennessee going to beat your ass. Trust me on that. And I'm saying it's going to be tomorrow. I could be wrong. And if I am, I really don't care. Because I ain't got a dog in the fight. So, but it is what it is, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Tennessee fans, Georgia fans, tell me what you think, man. So, anyway, with that being said, y'all be blessed. Remember, KB don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. And roll damn Tide.